Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome in Conversation with LY. Heard here on WLB 1010, as well as Spotify and many, many other sites that were on your APP. And thank you very much for considering joining us for this 1 hour this morning. And I'm anticipating we will have MC with us momentarily. Mark? Good morning. Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. And I'm glad that I was able to hear you. I was listening to your show yesterday. You had Alex McKinney helping you out.
Yes. I called in. He's my co-host, and I want to thank him and just a powerful show, man. And always looking forward to Mondays with you, man. I'm healing up, a little sore live with the kidney surgery, but I'm healing up, brother.
Okay. Well, that was important to me. You certainly was in our prayer circle, and
yes, I appreciate it.
Did you get the prayer I sent you?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Beautiful.
There you go.
Beautiful.
There you go. Well, we got quite a lineup this morning, and so we're going to make sure that we get as much as possible. We'll be talking with the fine gentleman, the Reverend Alvin Hathaway, and so much that he's doing. So to be, I don't know if he's retired or just decided he wanted to do this in addition, but he has been one of the most busy. He's busy. Believe you me, busy.
Yes,
and all about doing what's best for our community too. God bless him.
Yeah.
Also, I'm anticipating a call from our Congressman Kwesi Nfume. He's put in a fantastic piece of legislation that particularly is mindful of some of the concerns of our seniors, one of the major concerns, and so we're hoping that time will permit him to get in with us this morning as well. So let's go straight to Reverend Dr. Hathaway, and then we'll get to some other issues that I have lined up as well. I want to talk about the National Action Network and the plan to take our chapter from the Maryland branch and divide it up. But I'll talk more about that in time permitting as well. And, of course, the March on Washington. I got to talk about the March on Washington. That's August the 26th, and we're going to be talking about that. We've got buses reserved. We just want to line them up. So, but anyway, you want to say something before I go to Reverend Hathaway?
Yeah, we're supposed to have Brother Bobby, the clinician. He's supposed to call in, too.
Okay. Welcome.
Yeah, the clinician that was he was one of the speakers at the mental health forum at Bishop Watts Church in Brooklyn that Bishop Daniels facilitated.
Yes, all right, that'll be fine. Okay. Let's go pick up Dr. Hathaway.
Hey, brother LY, how you doing?
Good morning. Good. You talk about busy. If they had to tell me, give me 10 names of people who you consider busy in Baltimore, I would have to put you in one of those 10 names, sir.
Hey, Mark, man, you know what? I when I retired 2 years ago, I said I retired, but I am not tired. And then the next thing I know, it changed from I've retired, I'm not tired, but I've been rehired. And I tell you, it's been an amazing journey. We were uniquely blessed because we came under the baton of so many amazing personalities and people in that Upton Marble Hill community. And now God has provided an opportunity for me to really basically resurrect their names by restoring historic places so that our young people growing up there will know that they are in the land of giants. When you think about Thurgood Marshall and all the work of Lena Boone and all the work of the Upton Planning Committee there with that PS 103 Henry Highland Garnet School, we were fortunate enough to raise $14 million to restore that, and that's going to be completed this December. And it's going to be open in 2024, and we're going to do some amazing things out of there. And then to think of, and just as well as many of you people don't know, we all were mothered and nurtured by Juanita Jackson Mitchell. I mean, she taught us social action, social justice, and to be able to restore her law center there at 1239 Drew Hill Avenue is also a blessing indeed. And there are others that we've been able to do and are doing right now as well.
You retired, and now you're back and been back, and thank goodness you found time to do all of this. What would you consider now would be your three top major interests you want to share with the community?
This is what I want people to understand. If we're going to resurrect our community, we have to have what I call culturally sensitive and culturally relevant community economic development. See, it's important that, for example, as you know, and you've been uniquely blessed, when we want to introduce community health care to people with total health care, that center there on Division was named after Larry Young. Now, I want people to move through Upton and they see the names of people garnished on our buildings, knowing that they are a part of a legacy. So the first thing I want to make certain is that we do not lose our history, meaning that we don't lose memory. The second thing I want to be certain is that these buildings that we saw as vacant or eyesores are really opportunities to bring back new life, to bring back economic development, to bring back employment. And then the third thing I want to be important is that we have intergenerational conversations. The young people of this era need to have conversations with the seniors of our era. And we want to create those spaces in that community as well.
Whoa. I totally agree with you. You know, I guess must have been about 15, maybe a little bit more. Doc Cheatham and I had that concept, Reverend, and we wanted to take the youth and team them up with elders with the whole idea that most of our neighborhoods have folks who the neighborhood leaders are in their 60s and 70s running neighborhoods, and they are being expected to be there for zoning, be there for crime, be there for the issues. And some of them have learned how to do it well, like Jackie Cornish has done up there in the Drew Heights area. But what happens when Jackie decides to retire? What happens when this one and this one retires? These young folk, and I mean by that I should say I'm talking about between 21 and 30. Most of them who live in these neighborhoods don't even know what's going on in their neighborhood. They just look for the house next door, across the street, and their own. That's it.
Yeah. But I tell you this, it's that when you think about it, you would know, the audience may not remember, but when we grew up, we had places like what they call the Soul School.
Wow.
And the Soul School there, you remember back on Emerson Avenue?
Yes, sir.
Avenue, we could go there, and you'd have all diverse kinds of people would come.
Yes.
I mean, some would be beating on drums, some would be taking oratory, poetry, music, but it was a place where we could gather, and it was safe space. See, that's what we have to create in these communities, and that's one of the goals of our beloved Community Services Corporation, to create safe space where we can have those kinds of conversations and interactions.
Let's look at from everything I read about you, good man, and projects you take on. All of them are important, and I appreciate it. But I sort of took special interest when I saw what you were doing there for the building at Drew Hill, across from Bethel, the Juanita Jackson Mitchell. Man,
that is that. People don't realize the amazing tenacity of her. She got it from her mother. I mean, she had an amazing partner with her husband, but she was a force in and of herself. So Juanita Jackson Mitchell, particularly when we want to talk about the year of the woman and whatnot, we can't forget this amazing personality.
No,
she had 3 children and went to law school, and with high honors, and came back and used that skill for the benefit of her people. She also said that if you're going to serve the community, you live in the community. So her law office was right there at 1239. She could have moved downtown, but no, she wanted to have that service.
A half a block from her house too.
Exactly, a half a block from her house. And so we're gonna spend. Quite honestly, I'm glad you got the congressman coming on, because the congressman led the fight for us to get a congressional directed earmark. So we got $1.7 million. We're going to spend more than $1 million of resurrecting that property. It's going to be outstanding in every way. We're going to bring in a program. I went to the University of Maryland Law School and said, hey, y'all had the first African-American female graduate from your school. Give me a program to bring to the community. And they brought this program that deals with violence, domestic violence, and et cetera, called ROAR. So we're going to have a program right in that community. Anybody that's been a victim of violence can come there and get assistance and support, legal or mental health or social support. It'll be right there in that community.
Mark, you hear that? Fantastic, man. What's the time?
It is awesome, man. He's just out doing himself, man. I've been watching him. I've been, blessed to be out there with him, man. He's holding people accountable, and he's doing things in the community too.
Thank God. Thank God.
Now, let me tell you. Let me give credit where credit would due. I sat in so many community meetings when Senator Young would hold this community meeting in that area to let us know that we all had a responsibility to participate in governance. So, Larry, I gotta really thank you because you really established for us the prototype for how we should function and operate as citizens and residents in our community.
Well, very kind. Now, when I go past the public housing right there at McCullough, Drew Hill and Dolphin, that's McCullough Homes, right?
Right. Yes, right. That's right.
I've always wanted to get an idea. When you look at walking towards it, you think you up in the lobby. Who was it that put that together, man?
Yeah. That was an amazing, interesting. That was you had community builders coming out of Massachusetts, but they really had a sensitivity towards using what they had that RAD program where they had. Where they would be basically a private developer would use the resources of the housing authority to create housing. And they've done a tremendous job with what they call City View. That was a tremendous job. But I think I will tell you that our challenge now is that we have to have similar housing for those that live in low-rise.
Okay.
We've got to improve low-rise, and that's one of my big issues now is that we want to transform that so that those persons there can have, and HUD has a program where you can have a mortgage voucher to home ownership. We shouldn't just have our people just living, month to month in terms of rental. Let's use that voucher so they can have home ownership, and let's create home ownership there at McCullough Homes. That's one of my next issues. You got the tip on that one. I've kind of held that close to my vest.
Mark, you listen to that. We got the tip. Now, And one thing about it, it won't be long if it's in his head, in the vision, then he's going to do what's necessary to get things done. When you look at the situation that we have in our city, are you optimistic in terms of that we're going to get going and bring movement, or are you concerned that we are still not as quickly to respond as we should to the issues?
I think one of the things that, and I take kind of responsibility for this, Larry. We have another generation of leaders that are coming in, and my question is that do they have the playbook? Do they have the playbook? The issues that they are dealing with, we dealt with before. What Perrin Mitchell long ago was saying, "Us versus us is genocide." I mean, so how do we transfer that information to them? That we've dealt with this before. This is the strategies that we use. There's really nothing new under the sun, but they've got to realize that we've got to create the avenues where they communicate with us and we can communicate with them so that they can benefit from the years and decades of service that we've given to these communities that they now have been elected to serve. Wow.
Wow. Well, when I get, we're going to have a speaker in a minute or two. Join us. When I find out that Baltimore City has to return almost $3 to $4 million, catch this now, $3 to $4 million back to the to HUD because we didn't use it for the homeless problem.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's true. When you think, we have to have a sensitivity to people who are homeless. Those are our relatives. That's our family. They're not some distant, unnamed people. Those are people that we know. And so if we're going to have a healthy government, a healthy society, it is measured by how you serve the last, the least, and the lost.
I tell you, I had at least 4 opportunities to leave the city in many ways, for resources and all. But somehow or another, I just decided to stay locked down. And
thank God.
I appreciate that. But I just wonder, what are we going to do to keep our good, talented people here, people who really want to do and offer? Do they find reason to want to stay? What made you stay, Pastor?
Well, one was I was fed at the crucible of some amazing personalities. They called them the Goon Squad, Reverend Dobson, Homer Favor.
Oh my!
Sam Daniels. I mean, they poured into me, man. They allowed me the opportunity to sit at the table and to share and drink from the same cup. And I think that quest, because they had the same opportunity in '68 when we had the riots. They could have said, "Hey, man, we're out of here." But no, they stayed and they fought to do the work necessary. And I think we have that same clarion call to stay in our community. Here's the thing. Our communities have the potential of great value. So if you think about from a real estate perspective, to be able to buy a home in Upton and Marble Hill, you have so much upside in terms of value. So people want that. I mean, so they want us to leave. They want us to abandon it so that they can take the value, the economic value of our communities. We shouldn't give that away.
Amen.
No.
Amen. Boy, I tell you, and you do good to bring up the Goon Squad, good Betty. And I just wish that I can probably put my hand on about a half a dozen of you right now who could put together that same concept. I won't name names because somebody said, Larry, why didn't you remember that? Right now I'm talking to Hathaway. I remember because that's who I'm talking with right now. But have you ever thought about trying to find some others who have the vision and the dream and the concern deep in their hearts like you do, that we could have another Goon Squad? We need it, man. We need it right now, Pastor.
Yeah, I would say to you that my objective with the 1315, which is the PS 103, with Henry Highland Garnet, is going to be called the Justice Thurgood Marshall Amenity Center. We're going to have a base, and I'm going to send the clarion call. Once that is complete, I'm going to call everybody to come in and let's now reclaim our communities. Let's making sure that we have. I'm going to have the Judge Alexander Williams Center for Education, Justice, and Ethics. We've got to function with a way that we understand law. We've got to function in a way that we have economic opportunity. And you're right. We're going to create that space. That's one of my goals. As you kind of sunset off the, ride, what is going to be your legacy? My legacy, prayerfully, is that I built the Power Center in Upton for people to come and to be able to learn, to function, to operate, but more importantly, to operate with dignity and respect. And we're going to do that.
Let it be very clear for that well-deserved. They will simply have to say when it's all said and done, well done. Well done. That's it.
Absolutely.
You have a closing word, a statement, so Pastor? I'm calling him Pastor, Reverend.
Well, yes.
I know. Go right ahead. You have a closing statement for us?
Yeah. This is what I would say to your listeners, right? And it's not unique to me. I got it from my brother from D.C., Calvin Roloff. Calvin Roloff would say, "If it's to be, it's up to me." And I think that's the word that should be our mantra right now. We can change the dynamic and the trajectory of our city, but if it's to be, it's going to be up to me. It's going to be up to us. It's going to be up to us sharing and participating and ensuring that that generations unborn. And I love old Elijah Cummings. When we're dancing with the angels, we have an opportunity to the freedom struggles that we all were beneficiaries of.
Please, thank you. Please do not let too much time go past before you come back to us, man. As you put these issues out there,
I got to keep the people on. Yeah.
As these issues come out there, please feel comfortable to say, "Oh, why? I want to let the folks know," and we want to add to letting the folks know by letting you come on and break whatever news and concepts and interests you have, because you're a leader and we respect you. Thank you, man.
We'll do that. Bless you, my brother. Mark and Larry, I love y'all dearly.
Appreciate you, good man.
Love you too, brother. Love you too.
That's the Reverend Dr. Alvin Hathaway family. Thank you. Okay. Mark, like I said, we got a lineup, man. So let's quickly move over to Doc. Then we're going to get Mr. Holmes. And we even got somebody calling in for Christine Flowers, I understand. That will be fine. Okay, let's go. Doc, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for taking my call, and commendations and plaudits to Dr. Alvin Hathaway for continuing the great work. Sadly enough, today at 5 o'clock p.m. In front of City Hall, we've had to call an emergency meeting because something has gone without the citizens of Baltimore even knowing about it. And we feel compelled to bring this to the city's attention. Last December, the comptroller of the city of Baltimore did an audit. It did an audit of recreation and parks. In that audit, and there's a document, and we'll be happy to send it to anyone that would like it, Baltimore City Recreation and Parks failed the audit. They failed the audit. And in this particular audit that was done, and I'll just read one sentence so you can see what it's saying. It's coming from the Office of the Comptroller. It is not in full compliance with City Code Article 1, Subtitle 39, Equity Assessment Program. Baltimore City Recreation and Parks Equity Assessment Operational Budget and Capital Budget is not effective and needs improvement. And it goes on. What they have basically said, in the city and the mayor and all of the folks in City Hall have not brought this to attention. It failed the audit. It is not spending its money wisely, and the comptroller has put it in a booklet. We're going to unveil that booklet today because what we also know, we're not being told all the information. Is anyone aware that the Ambrose Kennedy swimming pool has not been open all year? It is not expected to open next year. Additionally, have you heard about that?
No.
The Ambrose Kennedy swimming pool. Has anyone heard that the Penn North Library has been closed since April? No. And there's no expectation in this year for it to be open again? And Senator, you live in an area like I do. Many of our seniors may not go to the library during this time of year. They go there to cool off. The library, I got a call Wednesday that one of our avid library people was complaining that she could not get into the library because someone has to come open the door because the door is not open. And then she said when she got in there, if there wasn't an operator operating the elevator, you could not go from one floor to the other, especially if you had to go to the bathroom. Dang. Because the elevators are operated by manual people, not by individuals. What we are finding is we're not being told all this going on. So today at 5 o'clock in front of City Hall, we are declaring a request of the City Council, one, that they discuss this audit that they had not brought to anyone's attention, that the comptroller audited them and they failed. And this is just in December. We have not heard one thing about it, Senator. So we decided we're going to take this day to address some of the things that are taking place. But we are not being told all the story, and that's because, unfortunately, a number, not all, but a number of our city council people have no relationship with their own community. How can we not have a library open since April?
And not hear a word about it from one of the voices. I
haven't heard about it.
I hear you. Doc, would you also, the other thing is there's a pool right down there on Saratoga and Arlington, the Ruth Kirk community. So that pool has been, I think this is the second year that has not been used for those kids down there.
Folks, and if you live anywhere in the area, and you're definitely right. The Roof Kirk area is another one. But you always got to realize people who actually let's take the little area where the highest percentage of African Americans reside in Baltimore City, because many of you may not know it. Well, it's the Penn North area. Do you know where the swimming pool is for Penn North? 21217. The highest percentage of African Americans in Baltimore City. There is none. The closest one is Drill Park. Folks, we have not done, and it's clear, the comptroller did an audit. The audit is before you, folks. You can get a copy. We'll send it to you if you want it. It's called Baltimore City Recreation and Parks Biennial Performance Audit for fiscal years ending June 30, 2021 and 2020. City Auditor Josh Pash, December the 6th, 2022. No one has told us about this audit. The City of Baltimore Recreation Center failed the audit. And you're wondering why pools aren't open. You wonder why libraries aren't open. You wonder why two of the oldest recreation centers in Senator, you know this, you used to represent this, two of the oldest recreation centers in the city of Baltimore, state of Maryland, are both on the same street, Bentlow Street. One the 500 block of Bentlow, one the 1500 block of Bentlow. Senator, the Bentlow Recreation Center in the 1500 block of Bentlow has been there for over 70 years. Have you ever heard of a rehabilitation of either one of these rec centers?
No.
1500 block and 500 block of Bentlow? Folks, we got folks that are elected officials that are running for office next year. They have not been in our communities. They are not aware. How do you not know that a library has not been open since April? We got people who are not connected with their own communities. This afternoon, 5 o'clock p.m., folks, meet us in front of City Hall. We are demanding that this audit be known and that we find out why we're not getting the money that should be already in the books for recreation and parks. It failed the audit. And nobody in Baltimore City Hall has told you this. The audit was failed.
And Doc, right as you speak, we're going to invite the controller to come on the show next Monday. That's the first thing I'm going to do.
Excellent book that they put out, and it exposes it. And folks, if you want to know the three major areas where it failed in the audit, it's on. And I'll read this whole part. Disparate outcomes on the basis of race, gender, and income. Race, gender, and income is why they failed the audit. You haven't heard no folks in Baltimore City. You haven't heard this, and it's a written report. December of last year, not 2 years ago. December of this past year,
2022.
Baltimore City Recreation and Parks failed the audit.
Doc, thank you, man.
5 o'clock a day in front of City Hall, folks. We would love to see you.
And hey, Doc, I was telling Reverend Hathaway, we were trying our best many years ago to try to bring the youth organizations and our black leaders together to put an answer to the question of sharing and caring and transferring. So many times we tried, and we were on our way. Doc, thank you for being.
Thank you. Sorry I had to give you the news.
No. You. That's what you. Hey, we. I hate to say this, but we count on you to do just that, and you don't disappoint us. But because of you and certain others like you, we're able to at least find out what's going on. And like you said, this is the time to check, because the election comes up in May, family. May of next year is the election. Everything's quiet now, but I think things are going to rouse it up, and Doc has just put one more issue on the table for you to weigh in your consideration. Doc Cheatham, thank you much. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much for taking my call.
Family, in conversation with L.Y., heard here on 1010 WLB, as well as Spotify and so many multiple sites on your APP log. check us out. And many callers have called me and told me I was able to hear myself on, yes, we have it on podcasts, Spotify.
Absolutely.
And so you can hear what you say or when you call in, no problem. We keep it and we go right forth. Well, listen, the clock's on us, and we got 4 major people that I want to get to. So each of you, if you'd be so kind, I know you might have thought you were going to have some time, but Mark and I only have an hour, and I got 4 people to get on before the hour closes out this morning. Sorry about that. But, Mark, we have your guests on board.
Yeah, Brother Bobby, I wish I told him to call at 10:15, but anyway.
It's my fault, Bobby. My fault.
No, don't worry about it. But he was one of the clinicians after the mass shooting that Bishop Watts in Brooklyn had come to his church.
All right.
To share with us. Brother Bobby, you there?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing this morning?
Strong.
Thank you for joining us this morning. As you're on the scene, what's your assessment of the Brooklyn situation, good man?
I think folks are trying to process it the best way they can. Had the opportunity to engage with some folks who live around in the community and trying to make sense of it, trying to find some sense of stability, normalcy after a tragic like this, safety, trying to find safety after a time like this. I spoke to a father that lives across from the court where the shooting took place, and he was telling me how heard the shots and had to tell his family and his young daughter to duck down when they heard the shots. The level of trauma, folks have experienced, it's real, to say the least. It's real and it's almost tangible. And it's something that we're going to be dealing with for quite some time, especially when, school starts back up and kids are trying to navigate social spaces, engagement with peers, and resolving conflict. This is going to be with us. This is going to be with the Brooklyn community and Baltimore at large for quite some time.
What drove you, sir, to take the profession that you have?
I've been working with youth and families in Baltimore for 11 years now. Mm-hmm. This is a calling. I fell in love with the work. Started doing the work years ago and fell in love with it and want to continue it and try to have a greater impact. Just impacting the lives of Black boys in Baltimore and their families. Understanding how, different systems, whether we talk about the criminal justice system, school systems, shape their life outcomes. And trying to do what I can to support them.
Have you happened to come across my godfather, Dr. Grady Dale? I've heard of him.
No, I haven't came across. No.
Well, I'm gonna definitely let him know that you are on the scene.
Absolutely.
For sure. Mark, did you have a question or so before we go?
Yeah, Brother Bobby, what's your organization? And one other question. The trauma forum that we had. What got you to be a part of that?
Just answering the call, We Are Us. I'm definitely grateful for the work of We Are Us, the impactful work that's being done by those brothers and sisters in our communities, trying to transform the lives of Baltimore, and not just address the violence, but other challenges that impact and shape our communities. So I've done participated in the panel previously before the shooting around mental health, and I was invited back out to share my insight, my knowledge related to the issue of mental health and trauma, and that's what I went out with you guys with We Are Us prior to going in the community, prayer walk and engage families prior to the forum. So. If I'm available, I'm definitely willing to come out and support in any way I can. And the name of my organization, I'm a licensed clinical social worker and mental health therapist. Name of my organization, Son of a Dream Services and Multimedia Resources. How to get in touch with us? You go to my website, sonofadream.com. Whether you're looking to get into therapy yourself, I only serve men and boys ages 11 to 55. So if you it's my private practice. So if you're looking to get into therapy, reach out. I also offer youth development programming to schools, organizations, etc. So if you're looking for that as well, you can reach out to my website, sonofadream.com, right, or you can reach me at 443-737-2870.
Thank you so very, 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 very much, sir. And we definitely will be reaching out to you. There's something coming to organize, and I have a feeling, hopefully, that your schedule will permit you to join up with us. But I got to go. But thank you so very much, Bobby.
Yes,
all right. Let me just share with you, family. Coming up, of course, is the March on Washington. That's going to be Saturday, August the 26th. We got 4 buses right now. We want to get up to 10. If you're interested, it's only $30 round trip, leaving on that Saturday morning at 5:30, 6 o'clock. And then having you back in time by 5:30, 6 o'clock as well. It's going to be a long day, but a necessary day to be a part of history. And if you wish to make a reservation, send me email, please. That's ly1125 at gmail. That's ly1125 at gmail. All right? .com. Now, come on through. We want to fill these buses up. Reverend Sharpton and all the national leaders are going to be there. We're even expecting a word or two from Westmore, our governor, to be supportive. It's going to be major, family. Just come on, join up with us. Let's make this march successful, because you didn't sit home on your rusty dusty. You said, I'm going to be a part of this. Yes, I am. I'm going to Washington. I want Trump and the people to know that I'm, as the vice president told them, we are not going to take it. We're going to stand up and push our rights forward. If you feel that way, come on and join us on the march. Now, also, and I'll spend a little bit even more time. In fact, the National Action Network Maryland branch, we had a greater Baltimore chapter, AKA, the Maryland NAA National Action Network will divide up and will have as many as 12 chapters, but the first immediate 5 will be Baltimore City, Baltimore County, Anne Arundel County, Harford County, and Howard County. And if you live in any one of those, you can join up. We're going to be pushing a strong membership drive right after the March 26th march on the 26th. But that's how it's going to be. And despite hopefully if you've been hearing from some folks, hear it from me. I'm telling you how we're going to do it. Those 5 chapters, and then we'll work on the remaining 7 before the year's end. I want to thank particularly Mr. Gerald Stansbury, the former president of the Maryland branch of the NAACP, many terms, and he's coming over to help with NAN, and we welcome him. And we welcome you when you join up for your membership in part of NAN. Thank you. That's National Action Network. All right, let's go quickly now. And everyone else, I'm sorry, but I got to put you on a limit because of the time, and every line is lit. So imagine if you were the number 5 line and I had to tell you couldn't do it. Let's start off right now with Miss Bazemore.
Hey, good morning, L.Y.
Good morning,
L.Y.
Good morning. Listen, when I saw the Miss Christine talk the other day, and she told us that money had to be returned to HUD?
Absolutely. So, look, Larry, I got to tell you, and I'm going to make this very short and straight to the point this morning, because this is, it is imperative that all of us, taxpayers, demand accountability. Let me tell you, the same thing happened in 2020 when it came to Baltimore City's Department of Housing, where they had to give back over $5 million.
Oh, my goodness.
But get this, it's because of the misuse of funding. And every year and a half, they're changing directors that run that division, thinking that, okay, we're gonna fire this director. We're gonna bring on another new director. But the same thing happens. We've had 6 different directors. Now, nobody's being held accountable for hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of taxpayers' money coming in from HUD and the state of Maryland's Department of Housing. Yet, we have been through a crisis in terms of the pandemic, over $681 million of recovery funding here. Mayor Brandon Scott set aside $100 million to go toward helping to house homeless and to revitalize the housing here that has been either vacant or abandoned for decades now. What happened back in May of last year, as soon as he allocated that money and set it aside primarily for housing, my first question 2 months later was, wait a minute, now the Baltimore Sun and different news outlets are saying $91 million have been set aside. And my question was, what happened to $9 million right off the bat of these fundings that you said you were setting aside? And that's the question. I'm sorry, we can't afford to lose not $1 of that housing money. We have over 100 mothers with children that are homeless right now in the city of Baltimore. I can't disclose their location, but that money is so needed. I've been an advocate, I've been an advisor, an associate of Belvedere Real Care Providers for the past 6 years. When I ran for mayor, ran for delegate, we kept this issue in the media by doing press conferences and rallying, and finally, at least the city council in 2021 actually changed the mission statement for the mayor's office on homeless services from sheltering to housing first. We're able to get 278 permanent emergency rental housing vouchers. What happened to those vouchers? Those are questions we need answered. We need to know why they did not pass the audit again, where $5-point-something million is going back. Do this administration really understand that when they audit you, when the feds audit you, HUD, and you can't account for dollars that you have set aside specifically to do a job? If you can't account for it, not only does it hurt the individuals that are in need for that money, like these 100 mothers with children, and we're going to be holding a press conference this Wednesday at 10 o'clock in front of the Department of Housing, and we're going over to City Hall for that budget hearing that they normally have. So people that want to come down, and because this is a major issue. We just heard Doc Cheatham talk about the failure of the audit for the Department of Recreation. It is time to hold our leadership accountable. It's not good enough for us to no longer complain about where our tax dollars are going. We need to start taking these entities to court if necessary.
Wow. Well, all I can offer is this vehicle. Mark can certainly offer his. As you go through the battle, just keep us informed. I mean, Christmas. How in the heck can you let that kind of money go back to the feds when the crying need is right here in front of all of us? And did I not also hear, Sister Bazemore, that there was something like 140 rooms that are available?
Yes.
Can you give me, I only got a minute, but can you talk about that real quick?
So there is, God is good. I'm going to give God the glory first.
Amen.
Because God is good. If it had not been for a particular vendor, a particular contractor that owns a hotel, then 100 mothers and children would be in the street right now today. If it had not been for Belvedere Real Care Service Provider, Christina Flowers is the director, and along with some of us associates and other providers coming together, these women and children would be in the street right now. While you are sitting on, and you have set aside, Mayor Brandon Scott, $100 million, $9 million disappear off the top immediately recently, 2 months later, and what is going on with being able to house these individuals. Now that you've completed 3 or 4 apartment projects here in the city of Baltimore, there is no reason why these individuals should not be housed. They are our most vulnerable citizens. Our most vulnerable. So, yes, I can't disclose the location, but we're going to get into talking more about what Belvedere and what other partners and associates are doing at Wednesday at the press conference, and why it is so important that we hold our city accountable for this funding, that we can't even stop it from, let me explain how it works. We cannot stop this from going back to the federal government. And what it also will do is lower the amount that you can request for the next fiscal year, because you didn't use all the money in which it was supposed to be used for. So they've got to be held accountable at this point, Larry.
I agree. And listen, once you are able to get things which you can publicly expose, please come back to us as soon as possible. Please. All right? I got to go, but thank you so very much.
Give me your email at LY
1125.com.
I'll send you an email of the press conference as well. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Okay, all right, very good. Okay. Bill Gooden? Bill? No? Okay. Oh, okay. Yes, sir. All right. Oh, okay. Let's go to Bubby. Good morning.
Thank you so much, Senator and Mark. There's a little black boy in Sandtown that's been trying to tell y'all about the corruption at the Housing Authority of Baltimore City for decades. No one was listening. But I don't want to talk about that because my time is short. Doc Cheatham was 100% right. Let me tell you something, Larry and Mark. There was an article in the Baltimore Brew. The article basically said that the councilperson, James Torrance, told them that the reason that Lillian Jones Recreation Center was closed. My affiliation with Lillian Jones go back to 1978. The reason it was closed because the people of the community broke into the community and stripped it of the coppers and the toiletries. Senator, let me tell you something. The Baltimore City Public School System sent their mechanical service department into Gilmore Elementary to strip out all the boilers, the heater, pump, and the copper. That's why the rec was closed, because it was adjacent to a vacant building. So, Senator and Mark, tell me, how can the city council representative tell these falsehoods to the Baltimore Brew that the reason that the rec was closed because the people broke in and stripped it, when the Baltimore City Public School System, the mechanical service department, stripped Gilmore Elementary. Larry, this is the representative that we get, that they lied. This, like, to go back to Ms. Bazemore's point, the 100 units that was tore down at Gilmore Homes so they could park the Housing Authority vehicles on the property where they tore 100 homes down. Larry, this is shameful. This is shameful. Why don't we call for an investigation of HUD into our housing and our Housing Authority apartment to see how they dwindle the staff of the people on the field and how they have some of the highest paid office employees in the HUD nationally? This is shameful. And why isn't Recreation and Park Director fired? Why isn't Janet Abrams fired today? You tell this mayor he is shameful. He is shameful. He is shameful. Thank you very much for listening to me, sir.
Thanks, you have a good day, man.
Thank you for sharing and bringing issues in front of us, good man.
Wow.
Oh, Mark. Gee.
I know, man. It's ridiculous. It is so ridiculous. Like, my head sometimes get ready to explode. I can't be down there Monday or today or Wednesday, or I would. I got to take care of my health.
Take care.
I would definitely be down there, man.
When you can.
My head is about to explode, man. It really is. My head is literally about to explode.
Let me get Alan in, and then you and I will be able to talk. Alan, quickly.
Yeah, how you doing, Larry? How you doing, Mark? I like Bubby. He need to work for Madison, West Virginia. You know, Baltimore, people say this right here. You know who I blame? What's his name? Quasi Fume. Fed money. Everybody know where Fed money go because you can track it. I think Marilyn Moses, because she finally leaving that guy. I told you, Larry, when you think that I was thinking that if you don't pay your tax, you're not going to do anything else right. Marilyn Moses ought to run for mayor or run for Quasi Fume. Elijah Cummings wouldn't let that money go back like that. You got to let people know the money is out there. See, we get mad at the Baltimore, and I said Baltimore can't do an audit right. Brandon Scott, I give him a C+. Marilyn Mosby to get all this stuff behind her and run for mayor or run for Elijah Kwesi Fume Senate thing, because Fed money, you got to get it, because when the Republicans, they don't want to give Baltimore nothing.
Brother Allen,
let me ask you another thing, Larry. Can I ask you another thing?
Hold up a second now. Let me try to share with you a view. Hold up now. Hold up, Brother Allen. First of all, if a federal agency does an audit and can document that a particular resource that they're offering was not used correctly, that congressman cannot stop them from pulling the money back. He can't do it.
Larry, you're a nice guy. I hadn't heard Kwesi and Fume talk on your radio station yet. I'm saying
Kwesi's been on my show. Alan, hold up. Kwesi's been on my show at least. So I've been doing this now for about 6 months. He's been with me at least 4 times. He might have tried to get in today, but every line was lit.
Well, let me say this, Larry. I'm saying this right here. I call my congressman every day. I'm saying everybody can call their congressman. When babies are freezing, I'm saying don't side with your friends. I'm saying I never heard him talk about nothing beneficial yet. I'm saying that he should be a season and people not joining the NACP. What is he doing? Bubba is a good representation. I think he ought to run for Congress. Bubba, because he tells us this, and we listen. Don't insult me. I listen. My ears don't lie.
Well,
that's all I'm saying, Larry.
I'm sorry that you have that opinion of our congressman, but the clock's on me. I got to go. But just to put it this way, I think he's a doggone good congressperson, and I have something this week that's going to be one more addition to why I feel the way I do about how hard he works and how he cares. And I'll say his record will speak for himself. Thank you. All righty. So, Mark?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I try my best to let people share their views on who they feel and why they feel, but and I don't always find myself comfortable with what they say, but that's okay. It's a talk show. They bring up the issues as they see it. But for him to spill off like that on Fume, that to me is unacceptable.
You got a second?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
All right. Number one, I think it was back in 2015. I don't know if you remember this. Patrick Henderson was there. Ms. Flowers was there. Reach out to them. Over at Recon-Tech, Liberty Recon-Tech, it was $9 million mismanaged, and I think they had to go back $4 or $5 million then, back in like 2015. That's why I don't see why we revisiting this, man. Ms. Flowers was in the room, touch base with her. Patrick Henderson was in the room. And when the then comptroller said, Ms. Flowers said, what happened to the $9 million? She said, what $9 million? I'm done.
I'm telling you, this is a situation. I happened to, and I was going through the Facebook and came upon Christine talking about the issue, and knowing how much the need is in this community, her and Larry Wallace and others, and to find that we're sending anything back to the federal government that could be used for these homeless folks, they're gone, man.
Brother, my doctor called and I got to jump off real quick.
Well, go ahead and jump off. Just don't fall.
Yes, sir.
God bless.
Say hi to the wife for me.
Don't start. And she's in here, too. And she better not talk about the hairdresser, because the hairdresser took care of real well. Okay. It's a family work. Again, if you're interested, please come on. The buses are lined up, ready to go. We just need to make sure they're filled up with you, and you. The March on Washington is scheduled for August 26th. We're going to leave from Baltimore about 5:30, 6 o'clock, return just before 6 o'clock on that same evening. Round trip, $30. Give me a call or at least give me an email to make a reservation. That's lyoung1125@gmail. lyoung1125@gmail. And you make your reservation, and I hope to be able to report that those 4 are gone by the next Monday. And my goal is hopefully to get as many as 10. I cannot believe some folks are going to sit on their rusty dusties. You're going to sit back and complain. But here we have an opportunity to join thousands upon thousands who are going to go to Washington and put this nation on alert. As Kamala Harris said, we got to do this, family. We got to do this. And again, I got 3 calls about the National Action Worker Chapter Program. I will have it explained in full. That'll be one of my segments next Monday. Thank you so very much.